Hey everybody, it's Wild. Welcome to Dark Souls 3 tier list time. We're going through every single boss that's here in this tier list maker of Dark Souls 3. I am ready to go through all of them, are you? Not just one or two, but all of them. Well, I mean, I hope I get that far. Jeez, I don't know how slow I can go. We do have an areas tier list that we can do as well if I run out of things to talk about today. I have until like 3:15. Yeah, I think, okay, the music is very dramatic. I want the music, but I might have to tone it down. I already feel like I'm fighting it. Okay, let's try like here. That too little? I want to like background ambience. I think that's okay. We have a lot to talk about, right? All right. Let's start things off. The first boss of the game. I tried to rank these, or I tried to put these in order of when we essentially fought them. There's a few that I was a little confused with, like, I don't really remember Aldrich, Devourer of Gods. I actually had to look that up. I don't know where this is. I was like, wait, we fought that thing? I think I probably beat it like in one or two attempts. And in Orsarios, I don't remember the fight super well, but I think these two were around each other, but it was also like a defeated in one or two attempts sort of thing. All right. So, starting off with Index Gundyr. It's the first boss, so obviously it's not super mechanically intensive compared to the other enemies in the game and compared to other starting bosses. It actually is, though, right? This is Dark Souls 3. There's sort of an expectation the player played the prior two games. There's a lot of lore, characters, and the combat system all sort of evolves over time with each game, right? So for a first boss, it actually is kind of mechanically intensive comparatively, right, from other first bosses in other games. But it's not too bad. His moveset is good. When he starts to become a pus of man, it's interesting. Like, it's like a, WTF moment, like, what is happening here? Which it has like a really cool surprise factor. And I do think makes the boss stand out because it's not just like a normal knight that you're fighting. And I think normal knight enemies are a lot of times really good and some of the best in the Soul series. It's also a little bit generic, and I like a little bit more flair, and it has that with the Pus of Man form. And it was so unexpected, too. It has that, like, surprise factor. When I first fought him, and I've even fought a few other Pus of Man since, it's kind of hard to tell what they're doing. And that kind of hard to tell what they're doing definitely prevents, like, putting it up really high in this tier list. I'm not putting it at S tier. And it's a little too simple being the first boss of the game that doesn't really teach amazing lessons. So for instance, in Bloodborne, the first two bosses you can fight, either Father Gascoigne or the Cleric Beast. They really help the player, like, learn lessons they will need for the rest of the run. How to deal with humanoid enemies that have, like, gun spam, how aggressive you need to be, watching your positioning, visceral attacks, parries, and the more that you are comfortable using those elements of combat, especially aggression, especially versus Cleric Beast, but also Father Gascoigne, especially when he goes into Phase 2, and matching that aggression is so important in Bloodborne, specifically in boss fights. Against regular ads, sometimes it's actually better to play more passively and defensively and to really kite around. But against the stronger elite enemies, a lot of times it goes back to that aggression. I don't think Index Gundyr really teaches any meaningful lessons as a first boss. So it's not a great first boss. It's good, though. It's a little hard to read when it starts to become a Pus of Man, and I remember when I first played, I was really concerned that the rest of the game was going to be really messy, because I was already having trouble reading a boss. And that was made me nervous, and I was like, are we gonna have a whole game where there's like bad animations? People love this game. People love Dark Souls 3. Because I was thinking there's no way it's this bad all the way through. And it did start off with the Pus of Man form being kind of hard to read. It's not a great start. So I'm thinking either B or C tier. C tier seems a little low for something that's, for a boss that's just not very offensive, right? It seems a little low for not very offensive, where it's mid, right? It's mid. It's not good, really. It's not great. It's not one of those tutorial bosses that really means something and can teach the player valuable lessons. It's just all right. It's more interesting than a standard knight enemy, so maybe that saves it from C tier. So I'm thinking B. All right. Vort of the Boreal Valley. This is weird because he's kind of like Artorias, but if he was on all fours and tried to smash you with, I believe he had a mace. I don't remember this fight super well. I probably should have rewatched my footage of. But I know I didn't hate the fight. There were some very snappy attacks, if I remember, and then a few slow. This game likes to mix it up quite a bit. Once again, I don't think that there's anything really that offensive with this boss. It's a more interesting enemy once again. It has the intrigue with it. And it had a pretty expansive moveset from what I remember of it, even though I don't remember like individual moves. It confused me multiple times with what it was doing, and I was constantly seeing, new moves and getting hit by stuff. I think we fought him a fair number of times, maybe like 2 to 5, somewhere in there. It didn't really take us that long to get him down. Once again, an early-ish game boss, so I don't want to rip everything to pieces and just give something that's super, confusing with its moveset. But it's definitely a step up from Index Grundier, and looking at some of the other ones that are in this list, its moveset is actually quite more advanced than theirs as well. I'd say it's a pretty solid boss. I'm thinking high B. There's nothing really that makes me think, oh, this is like A level or S tier. I think it's just solid, but it doesn't feel special. Right? It's solid, but it just doesn't have that, oh, this is special. This is something that we need to remember forever, because I don't remember this guy. It's just okay. It's a little bit better than okay. B's a little bit better, right? All right, the Curse Rotted Greatwood. This is the first boss out of many, looking at this list, that really has like the full package, especially when it comes to the atmosphere and presentation. Because you walk into this room and there's just ads. And I saw the tree over in the corner, and then I was like, what was that? When I saw some movement, because I think I saw it not really in peripheral vision, but it was like it was in the game window, obviously, but it was over on the side, and I saw like the whole thing shift. And I was like, what the heck? And then you're fighting the tree and there's zombies around. The actual fight itself is not great. But it has the spectacle that's just amazing, right? I could see putting this as C tier because the fight is not really that interesting. It drops like toxic explodey things, like sacks or something from the top of it that rain down on you, and it's like sitting on its butt, like scraping around and whacking you with its legs and its hands, and then you're just trying to hit like the pus pieces on it, and it's not really that fun. When you break down and go to the lower level and you survive that fall, it also seems like you should die. I think that's the first fall that they do in the game, that they let the player go much further down than you ever normally can without dying for no explicable reason, which is kind of annoying. But it does lead to a pretty memorable event. The fight itself, though, isn't good. And because of that, I'm thinking it has to go C. It has everything else going for it, except like an actual fun boss fight, right? Its mechanics of destroy the pus things isn't awful, and the fight itself isn't awful either. It has, you know, fair HP, and the pus things break decently easy. I think we got him with the daggers. I don't even think I was using the spear. Maybe I was, but even so, it wasn't that hard to hit them. But everything else with the presentation makes this super memorable. Super memorable. So I'm going to say C, but probably the highest C it could go. If it was just a little bit of a better boss fight, I'd probably put it up in B. If its moveset was a little bit more interesting, if this thing was maybe expanded upon a bit. But it does a lot right. It does a lot right. Crystal Sage. This one, in the same way as Curse Rotted Greatwood, felt kind of gimmicky. It felt kind of gimmicky, and I don't think it was very fun. It was very spammy. It would teleport away. You were looking for the clones, and it was interesting to try to find the real one. And I didn't hate it, but I don't think it's good either. The moveset was not super expansive, and once again, it's more of a gimmick with the clone thing once you get to a certain point. And instead of it being about you using your moves of your weapons up against a boss using its attacks and trying to find a way even to like break weak points with like the Curse Rotted Greatwood, it doesn't have that either. So it's a very gimmicky fight, and it's not horrible, but it's definitely not good. So either C or D. I think D's a little bit mean. It didn't make me upset. It's just not very good. But it has good elements to it. It's memorable enough. It does use its gimmick to pretty great effect for just being like a side boss. It's not a main boss. It's not trying to do anything special. I'm thinking C below Curse Rotted Greatwood. I could see an argument for D though. We'll think about this, but I think it might have to drop down. We'll see as we progress along. Alright, Deacons of the Deep. This was kind of a letdown of a fight. To me, this was more of a letdown than anything. And it's definitely not getting B or higher, right? It's just too much of a disappointment, but it wasn't horrible either. It was kind of mid. In terms of like a horde fight, I think they handled it pretty well, right? The horde just kind of keeps going. They have some that are shooting projectiles at you and you can take them out. You have to find the right one to start attacking. It's an interesting fight, and it's, as far as horde fights go, it's really quite clean considering. But it is a disappointment for what it's like, what it led up to. I'm thinking I can't control it right now. Okay, there we go. I had to go like way over to the side. There we go. I'm thinking we put it at the top of C tier. Really interesting being like this giant horde and you have to like kill the right ones, and there's casters and melee dudes. But not like my favorite. Oh my gosh, the music is still going crazy. Is it too much? What track are we on right now? Oh, I can't tell. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Okay. Did I disconnect? I'm gonna check my Twitch really quick. No, but bitrate is still low, which sucks. I don't know why it does that. Okay, but yeah, I think Deacon's like top of C tier is fair. It's an interesting fight. It's a good horde battle in this kind of game, which, you know, struggles with hordes. So I think that has to at least save it from D. And it is more interesting than these two as well. I can't remember if this is one of the Lord Souls or whatever. The Cinders. Let's see, what were they all? So Yorm was one of them. The twin brothers, the Lothric brothers, were the twin princes. High Lord Wolnir. And then was it Deacons? Deacon's the last one? Reconnection successful? Okay. I guess I did disconnect. I'm so frustrated with it, with my equipment not functioning properly. It's kind of driving me a little bit crazy. And like, I don't control this, right? It says my internet connection is fine. I don't know what to do. Oh man, it's so frustrating. Like, it's frustrating for everybody, but especially for me, because like I feel so helpless. You know, I feel so helpless when it's doing this kind of stuff. I guess to just continue on. If nothing else, I have the OBS recording. I don't know why it's like dropping me though. It's so annoying. All right. Well, hopefully things stable out as we get to a big heavy hitter. One of the big ones. The Abyss Watchers. This to me is an S tier fight. I don't like the ads at the beginning, and I think but they die fast, and depending upon what kind of weapons and spells that you have, you can dispatch them really quickly. I think I used Pyromancies a lot of times just to get rid of them. Well, I actually fought the Abyss Watchers, not just with Pyromancies, but I also got the kill on him with my daggers. There's fair openings. The moveset is really dynamic. Like, extremely dynamic. The boss's design, epic. The music, epic. It's just, to me, it's one of the S tier fights in the game. Solid list so far? Oh, thank you. And welcome, Red Slaps. How is today? We're getting a little bit of a winter storm today. So it's getting a little bit chilly here. And I am glad that you agree so far with my list. At least so far. The only thing that I'm still a little bit shaky on is Crystal Sages, which I might drop down to D. But I can't put Abyss Watchers in anything other than S. It's not my favorite fight in the game. It's not the only thing that's going to be getting in S tier, which is pretty exciting. But it's one of those fights I wish I could just redo again and confirm to myself how good it was. There's others that I want to do the opposite for. And I want to say, was it really that bad? But this one is great. Are you ranking the music as part of their rank? I don't think I've listened to the soundtracks enough to know every single like one of the themes. But if it was memorable, then yes. So like Soul of Cinder to me was obviously the most like when you were like listen to the piano and it's like okay, there's a piano track in the background, but when it clicks and you're like oh my gosh, right? That moment, it's hard not to place that as part of it, right? I don't really feel that there's many tracks for these bosses though that's bad. Almost all of them were fitting. Really, the music and art direction in Dark Souls 3 is absolute peak, just like the rest of the series. The things that FromSoft gets right, it nails down to the floor. It's not moving. So, yeah, I can complain about a lot of other stuff like their RPG mechanics, especially in Dark Souls 3, but definitely not like the soundtrack, the presentation, design, none of that. Artistic integrity is crazy. But from what I remembered, yeah. I only saw one screenshot, I think. I only think I saw one screenshot. I didn't know what it was. Is that like the Ringed City? Oh, I didn't click the link. I didn't click the full link. I just saw the one image. Oh wow, it looks even more Bloodborne. Oh, it looks way more Bloodborne than Dark Souls 3. You know what it really is? I think it's the color grading. I think it's the color grading. Yeah, because a lot of these look like, kind of glitchy. I'm looking at it. It's funny that you have browser open so you can watch them here. Oh yeah, we could take a look. I don't have Discord open. Wait, give me a second. Okay, it's gonna take a sec. It is interesting to see this though. I do have to say, I initially I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, it's definitely. How do I copy this? But it's definitely kind of a Bloodborne-esque sort of thing. Okay, so. So this is the Ringed City, right? It's gotta be. It's very different. It's far less. This is almost like before it just became ash. It's actually in the middle of destruction. And is this like a giant worm? Because you can see humps of it, and then it comes up into here. Is this the giant worm? Oh. And this area didn't look this good, unfortunately. I know this is just like, temporary, but the only area in the game that had like an immersion break for me was when we first arrived in the Ring City and there was that JPEG of the flat city in the background. I actually had my immersion shattered in that moment. I couldn't stop talking about it. It was awful. Visually, what I wish it was still in was the field, like the ghosts and swords at the first screen with the giant black serpent thing. Yeah, but I feel like that's too. Oh, what the heck? I just have to go to the next image. Guess I just have to click off after every one. Yeah, see, this is pretty cool, but I feel like it's just like 2D saturated. This looks cheap. This one's the worst one so far. These just look like Bloodborne assets put on a bridge. I don't like that one. That's cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know what to say. Oh, so this was what Grundir was gonna be? This was gonna be his arena? I mean, it's not that different. It's like... It's really not that different. I don't know. I don't really understand the ghost swords, but... Wow. Wow, they hadn't even figured out the HP bar and stuff. These are so early on. You can also notice the player has other weapons on their back. So they were supposed to be visible? What do you mean? All your weapons are visible in this game. Like, I mean, I can only all of my weapons were visible when I wasn't using them. Like, if I was wielding a spear, but I two-handed my daggers, my spear would go on my back, right? Whatever. Like we'd have stuff on our back and it looked stupid sometimes. Just be the way it was. You know, like if you're not two-handing it. I don't know. Like, that's just part of the game. Like the stuff that you're not, unless it's in the same slot, if it's in your hand. So like if our staff was in our right hand and our daggers were in our right hand, then when we change, it can't be on you. Maybe that's what you meant. I don't know. I guess that would kind of fit here too, right? Because this guy has like a sword in the main hand, shield in main hand, and the sword on the back, which that's not normal because you'd only have the sword on the back if you were to like two-hand this sword, and then your two-handed sword would be in your left hand or something like that. And then when you're two-handing it, then the sword has to go somewhere, so they put it on your back. So I guess I see what you're talking about. You could have multiple... How would that work, though? So, like, if you were to shift out your shield, then you would put your shield on your back, and then this handed sword would go in its place, and it would just all be on your character? That's interesting. This one looks like the high wall, but dark and foggy. I actually like this one quite a bit. It has a unique feel that I don't think Dark Souls actually hit. Like, the graveyard fog, but a castle. I'm getting ideas. I'm not even in charge of making a game, and that sounds really cool. You have a castle that's really hard to navigate and really confusing, with maybe a lot of illusion walls and stuff, and the whole place inside and out, especially out, is just covered in fog. Maybe that's how you differentiate it. The outside's covered in fog, but the inside isn't. And you get lost and confused. Sounds cool. They never did that in the Souls games. Maybe the next one. But yeah, this one's really cool looking. It is interesting that you can have more equipment shown on your character. I wonder why they decided to get rid of that, because it's not a thing in the other in Elden Ring either. Imposing. Looks good. I don't have much to say on that. Okay, that guy's driving a sword into a dude. So like he's turning him into a bonfire. I mean, this puts a bounty on your head? What are you talking about? Bounty? Playing the same game? Nothing too crazy. An early idea that you could make a bonfire. Yeah, it's kind of what I got with all the embers, but it's kind of weird too. I'm glad they didn't do anything too weird with the bonfire system. I never figured out how to hollow. I know you can hollow in the game, but it never happened to me, ever. Like, we played through the whole game. We played, what, 85 plus hours, and I never went hollow. I guess I'm just that good, right? I should get some... How come I didn't get an achievement on Steam for that? Beat the game without going hollow? Why not? I should have gotten an award for that. An achievement. Fighting enemies on the roof. This looks annoying, but nothing out of place, really. Yeah. The juggle animation. May create bonfires or summon NPCs to sacrifice locations. Interesting. Yeah, the most interesting ones for me are the graveyard fog wall. And honestly, this first one. It's so much more chaotic, and it feels like chaos is literally brewing all around. I love it, actually. I think you need to use the dark sign intentionally? I didn't. I never used the dark sign intentionally or not. Why would I use the dark sign on purpose? It gets rid of all your souls. So unless you've died and you went on some weird adventure, and then you're like, I need to get back to the bonfire fast, and then you're never going to use the dark. And Homeward Bone! And I got this spell partway through that allows us to use Homeward, and we just teleport back to the bonfire. I never needed the dark sign. Homeward Bones. Well, maybe I didn't deserve an achievement after all. I'm not gonna cry about it, but yeah, I don't know. These are interesting. These are interesting. And it's cool that I get to do this on stream. Yeah, I really only like that one and this one, though. Pretty cool. It's really interesting to see how developers pivot and change ideas when it comes to, especially a game like Dark Souls 3, the third in the trilogy. How much do you port over from your existing, 2 games, and how much do you make new, right? There are some huge changes, right? Because they went from each spell has like a set number of casts to a mana system. And simultaneously also introduced the Ashes of War, the weapon arts in this game that also pull from that same resource. So all the boss weapons and all the special weapons, instead of consuming their durability, minus a few like the Dark Moon or the Full Moon Greatsword, or whatever it's called, right? That has the ability to spend some of its durability with strong attacks. But almost all weapons had some sort of unique ability, and the boss weapons got really special. But they had all used this new mana system that they created, which I still think is a mistake, and I have since Elden Ring. I feel to differentiate magic to like weapon art should charge up as you hit with the weapon, and then you can unleash the power. Whereas like magic should pull from the mana resource, just to make them feel like completely different. And you don't have just like spells on a stick where you're just spamming the ability of the weapon over and over again, I mean. Fun fact, while Dark Souls was in development, it was dubbed Project Dark for a while. Until they were Japanese, because some names they thought of Dark Race and Dark Ring. Could you imagine it being called Dark Ring? That's actually funny. Dark Race. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine? Your favorite FromSoft game is Dark Race. I don't know. You have to admit, though, they did innovate a lot. They did innovate a lot when it came to Dark Souls 3. think I should continue, right? I think I should continue. We should go move to High Lord Wolnir. Oh my goodness, you finally finished the game. I did, Miroku. I finished Dark Souls 3 yesterday. Can you believe it? I defeated all of the bosses and now we're ranking them. I'm a winner. I'm a winner at life. Is it weird though that even after this, I still kind of feel like, and it's gonna sound really bad, but in a way, a lot of the game still kind of felt like it was in beta, and then Elden Ring, like, its systems feel more like the finished product, but I don't know. It took you nearly 2 months? There's no way it took me 2 months! There's no way! There's no way it took that long, did it? What was if it did? What was if it did take me that long? Oh my gosh. It was a long game, what can I say? We defeated every boss of the game. All of them. And we got, like, all of the upgrades and tons of spells and weapons and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Well, I think I just slower than some people at playing games. Because I want to, like, try out the different weapons and experiment with the enemies like AI to fully understand the game. Not many stream hours. We put like, how many hours did we put into Dark Souls 3? I don't believe you. I feel like we put in a ton of hours playing Dark Souls 3. I mean, up on my channel, like, because I upload everything to Wild Live, where I put all my VODs. They're like 3-4 plus hour streams. Let's see how many hours I have. I'm bringing up Steam. I'm bringing up Steam now. Let's see. Dark Souls 3. We almost have 100 hours logged. 99.6. Basically like 100 hours in the game. Okay. Like that's quite a bit. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of streaming. I did my best, okay? Oh, 3-4 hours each day, not including the days you missed. Yeah, there are a few days, especially when the weather's been bad, I could like pick it. I might be able to like pick it, like take a break. You know, take a break and then come back because I can't go for a run or anything. I could technically come back for streaming a little bit more. I don't know. It's usually a time when I like game with friends though in the evening. So. Anyways, regardless, it was a long journey. You're right, and maybe it did take me 2 months. I'm kind of surprised it didn't take me 3 or 4 or 5 because we did everything. Spent 100 hours. But I mean, man, I mean, it was a great 100 hours though, right? There were some ups and downs. It wasn't good the whole way through. Like I said, I in a way, Dark Souls 3 still felt like it kind of was beta-y in a way. Like I'd play the game again when it fully releases, with the like all the balance patches and stuff. You touch grass a little too much. I actually love being like outside, like. Obviously, I love video games too, but I like to go for runs, for walks, do fishing. And like my butt is really bony, and sitting down in the chair all the time, it just like hurts, you know? I bet I hurt my chair too. It's like, what are you doing? Like, stabbing me every day for hours. Okay, let's get back on track and not stop talking about my bony butt. Okay, speaking of bony, High Lord Wolnir. How's that for a transition? This guy is a skeleton. This guy is a skeleton. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is one of the Lords of Cinder. He's High Lord Wolnir. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. But this is a real... Okay. I can't... I need a drink. Give me a second. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. High Lord Wolnir. Okay. Someone is thirsty now? Yeah, I had to get some water. Because, like, I couldn't stop laughing, and... Yeah, I needed to just, like, calm down. And I got lightheaded. Like, I'm probably dehydrated. It happens when it gets kind of cold out, right? You don't really feel as thirsty as you normally do when it's, like, super hot. And I'm, like, baking inside my room. But you still get dehydrated really easily. Just dry. High Lord. No, I'm not excited. We need to move on. We need to talk about this skeleton. I've been here forever. Okay. Let's start off with the atmosphere and presentation. The atmosphere and presentation. Did I look up the fans I sent you last time? Yes, I'm probably getting one of them. I don't know which one yet. I'm ordering off Amazon, so I might have slightly... Like, their rotation of stuff that they have changes very frequently. Now that we're getting this weird winter storm, I don't need it just yet, but now's the perfect time to order it so that when it does get hot again, I'm ready. Because right now I just have a little desk fan, and it's quiet enough my mic doesn't pick it up. Not cool enough that it saves me. So... Alright, anyways, High Lord Wolnir, presentation. Is one of the best, most striking in the game. You walk into a pitch black room, there's an item that the player's going to pick up, and then you walk to it, and you see the giant skeletal hand, and then he pulls his face into the light, and you see just a massive skeleton face just jump scare you. It's crazy. It's such a good moment. The fight itself is good. It's a good fight. You have to attack its hands and try to break its rings. It's a little awkward where when it uses like that mist that deals damage to you, you have to like run so far in front of it, but sometimes it can butt you up against the wall, which feels kind of intentional, like should back up again. But I had one instance where we were like up against the wall, there was nowhere to go, we couldn't go behind it, and we died. So there's a little bit of jank to it. There's definitely a little bit of jank to it. The moveset is cool though. Having some ads in the fight feels manageable because I think there were some skeleton ads, and it didn't feel like they were too crazy because the boss is not so over the top with its moves and very slow. And attacking its hands to break the gold bracelet things is interesting. But once again, it does have a level of jank to it, and it's not really the best like move set or anything. I don't feel like it's a C tier boss. It's special enough, and it has enough good qualities. I think low B is pretty good. I think I might put it higher than Index Grundir. Once again, this is a starting boss, is nothing special. At least the presentation here is really big. Actually, that makes me want to put him in the highest that we have so far in B tier. I say low B because it's definitely passable and good, but it's not great. So I think B is fair. Okay. On to sort of the opposite side. This is actually one we fought yesterday. I was way over leveled for it because you were supposed to fight it probably after Wolnir. Like I said, I kind of ordered these and when you would essentially probably fight them, minus a few that I was kind of don't remember too well. But the old Demon King, I think, actually has a really great moveset. I just think the presentation is kind of sucky. There's no real big fanfare reveal. It doesn't have that spectacle to it. The room when you explore it after he's dead is really cool with a whole bunch of like dead Capra demons and Asylum demons. It's really cool. I think his moveset's pretty good. It might be the first A tier. It's not S tier, let's be real. And I think B is too low. I actually think his moveset... I think the moveset is actually pretty decent. What do you guys think? Does that sound fair to put it in A? Is that too high? I was over-leveled when I fought him, so the fight didn't quite take as long, but I still died, I think, once or twice from it. Fighting him at actual proper level, I think it could be a lot more difficult, and we maybe would have seen a few more moves that we didn't. But it seemed like a fair fight with a good moveset boss that was just solid all around. There wasn't really any weird gimmicks to it. There wasn't anything where it's like, oh, the presentation is far better than the actual fight, or it's a little simplistic and not as special. I think it was good. I'm thinking A. I'm thinking A tier. I don't know. You guys can throw in some extra tidbits if you heavily disagree with something, which you might very shortly. Pontiff Sulyvahn. Pontiff Sulyvahn, out of everything we've looked at so far, is the only boss that thus far has hit the list that I really feel like was in the wrong game. I really feel like he was in the wrong game. In Bloodborne, you've got the rally system for when you get hit, you can get right back into attacking and get HP back. Your heal is way faster, and this guy has a lot of gap closers and ways to punish you from distance. And when your flask is like, I'm gonna drink my flask, gulp. Whereas in Bloodborne, it's just like, I healed myself, right? That's noticeable, right? I'm gonna drink my flask now, here I go, gulp, is just way too long for a boss that's this aggressive. He has a lot of attacks, sort of relentless, is able to close the gap on the player. And it just doesn't feel like the player has everything they would need to take him down. But he's really well designed, he's just like in the wrong game. He's just like in the wrong game. I kind of want to put him in C tier, to be honest. I kind of want to put him in C tier, probably at the top, because I think he's well designed, but he's like awful for this game. His damage was really high too, and once again, in Bloodborne, that was kind of the philosophy. Everything hit really hard and could kill you in a few hits, but you could quickly jump back in, get some HP back, and heals were way faster, and you had way more healing. The second phase with the shadow self of him, where they like follow up with each other, is a cool idea as well. I mostly just blitzed that shadow down with like fireballs, from what I remember. You can engage, but it's really awkward and leaves with a lot less time to be aggressive. I didn't dislike that mechanic overall, but it didn't really seem necessary for a boss that had so many moves. He also had a lot of attacks that would like snap to the target. So he'd do like 360 snaps to the player. And his moveset was so varied, it was hard to read his moves. I had a lot of problems reading his moves. Also, he had some attacks that were really fast too. Like, they would come out so quickly. And having the backstep or quick dodges of Bloodborne would have let you stay offensive a lot easier with these really fast moves and just gave you a better response to them. He's a great boss in terms of like design, but for this game, he's not. Now, he's better designed in what he can do than like Deacons, right? Or Curse-Rotted Greatwood or Crystal Sage, but it's just so not good for this game, and I had so many issues and frustrations with him. I wish there was just a way to mod him into Bloodborne and I could try it out there, and I think he would have felt right at home. Honestly, I think he would have felt right at home. I don't think he's a terribly designed boss. I just think he's in the wrong game. And that's weird, because none of the other bosses we've said so many positive things about with their moveset and stuff and put them in such a low tier, but I think he has to go see. Aldrich, Devourer of Gods. I'm gonna put this in D tier, because I don't remember the fight. I looked it up online, and I still barely remembered the fight. It's like some weird snaky woman thing that has like that summons up spears from the ground and stuff like that. I'ma be real, guys. I think we did this in like 1 or 2 attempts, and it was, you know, I maybe died a few times to something random like spikes on the ground, or because there was some magic junk. I don't remember it. I don't. I didn't list one of my videos as the title of the video fighting that boss. It's just very throwaway. I don't know what's wrong with the boss. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's not good, unfortunately. So, maybe on a subsequent playthrough, I'd get to see more of it and I could bump it up. But from my experience, what I witnessed, what I played, what I remember, which is even worse, it's like D. It's like it didn't exist, which is rough. Orsarios, the Consumed King. I think we only fought this guy like 1 or 2 times, and I tried using the poison spear with lightning on it. After I died like once or twice, I'm like, we'll use poison spear. And of course, he's immune to poison. And it didn't seem to do that much damage anyways, even with lightning enchantment. So I just resorted to pyromancies and they did better. So, my point is though, we killed him in like 2 or 3 attempts despite trying something different that was less effective. The poison spear with lightning enchantment. So even with not going all in, he was just way too easy. Now, he does get more aggressive like partway through and kind of thrashes around a bit more. I'm thinking low B. It's a cool boss. It's a cool boss. There's some nice voice lines of dialogue. I like the music during it. His phase 2 is a lot more aggressive. There's plenty of punish windows. There was some sort of water or mist that would deal damage to or something that I never really figured out what it did. I think it just did damage. It's more of a lore boss than like a really tough boss. And I do think I should put it below Index Gundyr and the Vort, because these two are earlier game and I still feel like they offered more for when we encountered them, whereas Orsarios, by that time we were just crushing him. So although he's interesting and not bad, and I'd even go as far as to say a good boss overall, just a little undertuned, maybe a few more moves, maybe even a phase 3 could have been interesting, where he stops thrashing so much and regains more control and can use more refined magic, potentially? I don't know. The Ancient Wyvern. Is this referring to the Gauntlet? Is this referring to the Gauntlet thing where you have to like run up top and then stab it in the head? Right? I think so. Okay. So this really isn't a boss fight. It's like a gauntlet that leads you to one-shot the boss as you're running through enemies. Now, you guys know how I handled this boss fight. I turned off the music and I stopped fighting the boss because I wanted to learn how to fight the ads. Because I never fought that archetype of enemy before. And I was like, well, I want to know how to fight these ads. And I thought I was going to have to, like, kill them and get to another bonfire. I didn't know it was a gauntlet section. I know the boss music was going crazy, but I was like, it's weird that they have the boss music going on this whole time. Like, why don't they play it the next time? Like, why don't they stop it the next time we get to, like, a bonfire? I didn't even realize the whole thing was supposed to be a gauntlet, that you were supposed to, like, kill some enemies and then quickly run past others to get to the top to stab the dragon. I didn't have a thought that's how it was supposed to go, even with the boss music. I thought it was just annoying. So I turned the boss music off. I fought the enemies a lot. Some of them, I even took time to stop doing the boss fight, if you want to call it that, to fight the dagger dragon, it's like snake enemy guys, over and over again, because their movesets were so dynamic. And you want to know what? Those dagger enemies have a better moveset than this dragon. Convince me it shouldn't go in the F tier. It's a cool idea. It is a cool idea. The plunging attack was very unsatisfactory to me, but it's a cool idea overall. The concept is decent of this giant gauntlet, but I didn't really get it, and the ads have better moves than it does. Does it have to go below Aldrich? Maybe it even has to go F tier. It's not that bad. It's just not good either. At least I got a fight with this, even if I barely remember it. This really wasn't a fight. This was just like a gauntlet of enemies, and then you kill the boss in one hit. And it's just made up of a whole bunch of enemies that you've never fought before, trying to run past them. It's kind of annoying. So I'm gonna keep Ancient Wyvern in D tier. Okay. The Nameless King, a big one. I'm a little conflicted with this one. I really like his second phase, and I wish there was just like an extended version of his second phase. And I think he would go up a lot higher. The riding wyvern form, they call him like the Storm King or something like that. It's like Storm King Rider or something, and then when you defeat the dragon, the wyvern, he becomes the Nameless King. So I don't even have his first form on here, but that's part of the fight, and I feel like it's kind of a waste of time. It's kind of jank too. It's kind of jank when the thing like bends its head. If you're not locked onto it, whether you're locked on or not, when it bends its head certain ways, you need to like run away from it, because when he does his stab, you won't be able to easily see him. So there's very specific things you have to do to not get hit. And I just feel it's very jank. I can't say any other way. That first part with the wyvern never feels good. The way its head sways around, the way when the king charges up his halberd and slams it down and explodes with lightning, and it's got such a lingering hitbox on it that's so long that if you dodge, you still get hit by it. So you have to make sure that you're like underneath the dragon's like neck. So you end up seeing him charge the move and you run into it underneath the dragon's neck, so when it slams, you're not going to get hit by the AoE. But the only reason you have to do something weird like that is because you have to learn Failure Osmosis difficulty. I know it's a Souls game, but you have to learn, oh, the AoE is so big, you can't, and it lingers for so long, you can't dodge through it. But then after you dodge underneath the dragon's neck, now you're like, or run underneath his neck, now you're in a weird position where you can get maybe a hit or two in, but now you can't easily see the king because you're underneath the dragon's neck. It's really weird. The actual king himself has a really great moveset. and is like truly top tier and makes me want to put him in A tier. Even despite the dragon phase. But at the same time, like, the dragon phase is part of the fight and it's not good. It's jank. It's basically an extended run back to the actual hard part of the fight. The Nameless King hits really hard with his skills. I think he has to go in A because of how good he is as a fight. But like that Wyvern form part, even if it's fast, is still just a time waster. Basically like an extended annoying run back. And we timed it. We timed sometimes how long it would take for us to get to his actual phase, and it took us a while. It's such a good fight, but it's also kind of problematic. If somebody put this in S tier, I would understand. I would disagree with it, but I'd understand. If somebody put it in B tier and was more frustrated with him and thought he was overtuned because of that first phase and his moves hitting a little bit too hard for having a first phase, I'd understand that. But to put him any higher, for me, it just doesn't seem right. And to put him lower doesn't really seem right either. So I guess A tier. There's a lot of good and a lot of bad with him, but the good parts of his moveset are truly phenomenal. He also gives multiple ways to tackle, I'd say, his fight. I would assume that everybody has slightly different, difficulties with him, depending upon what kind of weapons and spells and stuff they have, but he does allow you to tackle the fight. Okay. Yorm the Giant. How do we talk about Yorm the Giant? So, the moveset of this boss is actually overall pretty simple, right? Not too hard. But to really beat him, you have to use his gimmicky Storm Greatsword weapon. And it's really fun to use. In terms of like a gimmick fight, I like this a lot. I don't know if other players did, but it felt so fair and interesting. It felt really fair and interesting, but I don't know if I loved it. But it was really fun. I liked using that Storm Greatsword, charging it up for the big hits. Fight wasn't super hard. The moveset of the boss is really slow, and it was good because of that. It was perfect for that weapon that they had you fight it with. So you had to play a specific way. It's kind of gimmicky, but at the same time, the gimmick was so well designed. The gimmick was so well designed that I think I'm putting it in A tier. I really did enjoy it. I'd do it again. Now, I couldn't use just whatever I wanted against a good moveset like Old Demon King or the Abyss Watchers, so it loses that variety, and it's not the most challenging boss in terms of moveset. It's more working with the moveset and with the restrictions of your weapon. Once again, that's the devs curating a set experience. And for that set experience, I think it was phenomenal. Another Lord of Cinder. I'm sticking with this. That makes sense to me. It's very different than the others. It's like a half between a gimmick fight, but it's more of a specifically designed fight, right? It's curated to be the way that the devs wanted it to be played, and it's clean because of that reason. Dancer of the Boreal Valley. I was over-leveled for this fight, I'm pretty sure, when I fought this guy. This gal, because we went to the Dragon Peak and did all the dragon stuff first. I don't remember her moveset all that well. She flailed, she didn't really flail, she spun around a lot and would do multiple hits, but it all felt readable and like I could just kind of spam dodge roll through it. It definitely wasn't good. It definitely wasn't good. It wasn't. I'm thinking C tier. I think if I wasn't so over-leveled, it would be more interesting than Deacons. It might be better than... She might be better than Pontiff Sullivan, too. I don't know about that, though. Once again, he's just in the wrong game, but well-designed. She's well-designed, but in the wrong game. No. Sorry, he's well-designed, but in the wrong game. Maybe she's... I don't know what I'm doing. I just wanted to do, like, the inverse of that, but she's not poorly designed. Right. She's not. She's not poorly designed, but in the right game. She's, that's just factually incorrect. She's well-designed. So... I think I put her here. I think she's okay. Kind of easy. Maybe she was supposed to be easy. I don't know. All right. All right. All right. Champion Gundyr. This is my least favorite boss in the game. By a lot, and I came with a few little bits of evidence to talk about and show. I think I have to take down just a tad again. Okay. Just a tad. And now it's like inaudible. So touchy. My volume control. Okay, so let's talk Champion Gundyr. I'm gonna talk a lot, and then I'm gonna have some things to show because we fought this guy live, and I needed some evidence to back this up. I am not insane. This is not great. So first of all, just like Pontiff Sullivan, this boss would have been better in Bloodborne. Not as good and not as obvious as Pontiff Sullivan, but he would have been better there. There are so many instances where he hits you and takes like 90% of your HP away, and it doesn't matter because you just flask it out. But the animation for it just feels wrong for this boss. I don't think I have a clip of that specifically, but he does like this double stab thing with his halberd. And I take a drink as soon as he's done with that second stab, and I'm like, oh, I'm safe. He has to like recover off that stab and then do something else. And he goes into another move, and rushes all the way over and hits me with it. In Bloodborne, you just stab yourself in the leg, you're healed, you're ready to go again. And you don't have that slow dodge roll. You're snapping, you're able to do that dodge where you're sidestepping or backstepping, and it all has iframes. You're meant to handle more aggressive bosses like this. But in Dark Souls 3, I just didn't feel like I had like the stuff to do it. Then there's his moves, and he's got a really expansive moveset. He does. He's got a ton of moves. Some of the most that we've seen up to this point in the game. His moveset is super varied. And a lot of it has delayed attacks and you can learn the timing, but then he's got a few attacks that are really fast, like the kick. The kick is so quick, and with the rest of his moves that he needs to be so... You need to be so precise with your timing and not just press the button early and like panic press the button just because you see him twitch. But then he's got the one move that it's not like twitch reflex. It's not the worst. We've had way worse of that kind of thing happen. But it's still so much faster than everything else, and you really need to respond quickly, or you're punished. Now, it is his weakest move, but it just feels out of place. And then you have his spear move, which that is going to be one of the things that we talk about in just a moment. Is that a tier list? It is, Duck. We are doing Dark Souls 3 boss tier list. Your input is welcome, but also I will completely ignore it if I disagree with it. And right now I'm talking about my least favorite boss, Champion Gundyr. Dancer and Pontiff at the same level as Crystal Sage. I did give a little bit of a warning with Dancer. I was over leveled when I fought her and I killed her first attempt. I don't really know what she does. I don't really know what she does. And so there's like a little bit of a disclaimer. I think she was cool, but like I don't feel right putting her in B tier because I didn't really see it all that much. I did it first try, so it's kind of sucky. And that's why this tier list might not be perfect, right? I'm not dying on this hill. Pontiff Sulyvahn, I think, is in the wrong game. He would have been great in Bloodborne, but I had so many issues with his design in this game, like as Dark Souls 3, that I just don't feel he deserves a higher rating. So, but yeah, Champion Gundyr being your least favorite boss, no way, Jose. No, he is. He is. I don't know if that's if you're being sarcastic, but no, he's my least favorite. Okay, so I was just talking about his spear move. So the spear move where he basically charged forth with an AoE. If you're really far away from him, you won't get hit by the charge forth, and when he does the spin, you can dodge through it. I'm dead ass. I love my goat. The phase transition. I mean, the phase transition isn't anything like crazy though, right? It's well telegraphed and you can run away while he's screaming. You mean the rush? I think you mean the spear rush that I was talking about, right? The phase transition is the charge. He uses the charge a lot. That's not part of his phase transition. He does it a lot. He might do it like after the phase transition too. Maybe it's a slightly different one. But his normal charge, he just does that all the time. Anyways, though, the one where he charges you and does the swing, yes. So that move, if you're really close to him, you can dodge. You can just dodge into it, and if you're really close to him, when you dodge into it, when he's gonna do the AoE swing, you can immediately do your second dodge and dodge the AoE swing too. If you're really far away from him, you don't have to worry about dodging the charge portion of it, because he won't hit you with it. You only have to worry about dodging the AoE. There's a nasty spot in the middle where as soon as you dodge the charge forth because it tracks to you, you like get hit by the second part, and it's kind of inconsistent. Just put it in F already so we can stone you. Anyway, we're not there yet. What are you doing? Wait, what's Wolnir doing above Pontiff and Dancer? I like Wolnir. I think it was an interesting fight where you're breaking his gauntlets. The atmosphere in it is incredible. Moveset's nothing special, albeit invited. Okay. Let's Pontiff is A tier? We can't put Pontiff in A tier. He's nowhere. No, we can't do that. Ancient Wyvern in D tier. Put him in F. Okay. I might actually cave to that. I was wondering if I should do that. Because that's like... this isn't really a fight, is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we'll do this for now. I don't know. Yeah, I feel Pontiff Sullivan is in X. Maybe I should bump him up to B. I could see putting him up to B. Maybe. Yeah, he's so problematic though. He's so problematic. It's like he's in the wrong game entirely. It doesn't feel right. At least these others up here, these are okay, right? B is just like okay rating. And like all of these are just okay. There's nothing wrong with them. I don't hate them, but let's put them on hold. Put them in B and the masses will be appeased. Put him on hold until the tiers are more fleshed out. We can revisit him and have this debate when we're fully done, because we still got some other bosses to go, including all the DLC bosses, which will help us kind of even things out a bit. So, but before that, Champion Gundyr. Okay, so Champion Gundyr. Okay, so this first one is not that egregious, but I saw it looking for the actual clip that I wanted to. This is us fighting him, right? So he's gonna do his spear charge move here. He has his halberd at his side. He's gonna do his charge into us. Here he goes with the charge. We dodge roll through it. But it doesn't matter. I've watched this and a few other clips so many times, and I don't really understand what's going on. And part of me is like, oh, I was just like too early on my dodge. But I honestly don't think that I was. Like, look how close this is to me when I'm starting my iframes of my dodge roll. I'm leaving this to like the last second. And even then, I get like roll caught by a lingering hitbox on his side. This is where the actual first hit takes place. Right here, you can see my HP. This is where it gets hit. The spear didn't catch you, but his body did? Maybe, but he does move forward at the same time, so it's not like you can dodge backwards out of this. I started dodging a little bit more to the left or right when he did this a little bit later on. But at the same time, this is also what I was talking about with Pontiff Sullivan, right? Where in Bloodborne, this was a little bit more acceptable because you could play more aggressive if you did survive an attack like this. If you did survive an attack like this, it'd be okay. You could quickly get back in and attack. You could blood vial, whatever. Maybe even like right in here, I could have like quickly blood vialed myself. But the animation for drinking a flask is so slow that that wasn't even an option. And then I'm just dead. So this wasn't even the clip that I wanted to show. This is one from that I found along the way. What I really wanted to is 3:12:22. 3:12:22 about. Yeah, I came with receipts for this because of how annoying. Oh, this is a good example of what I was talking about with his charge. If you're far enough away from the charge forth part of it, all you have to dodge is the AoE, and that's really reasonable. So right, when does he do it? Right after this, I believe. Okay, so he runs over to the side. What is he doing? We're gonna have to agree to disagree. Let's continue the list you made up in your mind already. I mean, you're kind of not wrong, at least with this one. But when I first saw this, yeah, I thought he might shoulder bash too. And he doesn't go for it. He doesn't go for a spear either. And I thought he was going to spear rush when I first saw this because he has a spear at his side. So it looks like he could shoulder bash, but how he's fixed right now, right? How is he going to push off into me? Because the way his legs are, it didn't make sense. So I thought he was going to go for the spear thrust move, but instead it goes into an uppercut and then also into a kick that's part of a combo. And I remember being like, when I first fought this guy, I was like, I didn't even expect that to happen. Like, I just didn't read this animation at all because it doesn't feel like it's supposed to happen. I don't know if this glitched, but it's almost like he's gonna do a completely different move and then automatically just transitions into this hit. And look at how much HP I lost from this one hit too, because it's a combo. So that's like over like 80% of my HP bar basically gone. In like, where was my HP when he started this? Right here. I don't know if you guys can see my arrow. That is a lot of HP for like an unclear attack though. So, I mean, there's more examples I can give of jank hitboxes, of like me not seeing specific attacks. I don't know. I don't think it's, I don't know if I'm just the problem here. I just felt like, I don't know, you guys like this guy a lot, but he was really bad, I thought. Is he like F tier? I don't know. F tier seems really bad, but he's my personal least favorite. Let's chill with the J-Slur jank hitbox. I mean, the first example I gave was just the first one that I found while I was looking for that last clip that I actually wanted to show, because I knew I wanted to like at least bring that one up. But while I was going through, that's not the only one. Let's meet halfway in C tier. I can see the argument. I can see the argument of putting him in the same tier as Pontiff because he has a lot of the same problems, right? Part of me going back and outside circumstances ruined your experience? Outside circumstances, what do you mean by that? But I feel a lot of his problems are the same as Pontiff Sullivan's, right? He's very aggressive in this game where your heals take a little bit longer. I can't put Grundir and Ancient Wyvern on this. You're right. You're right. I can't. You're right, I couldn't do that. That wouldn't be fair. Ancient Wyvern is not really a boss fight. I don't even hate its total experience, which is why I had it in D, but it's not really a boss fight. And Aldrich I put down here because I did it in like 1 or 2 shots, and I barely even remember the fight at all. I had to look up a YouTube video to just see what it even was. It is better than that. It's at least memorable and a full boss fight with a moveset, right? Yeah, okay. We'll do C for now. Ancient Wyvern could have been a cutscene. Well, okay, it's a gauntlet, right? Really, the Ancient Wyvern isn't really a boss fight, it's a gauntlet fight. Where you kill a Wyvern at the end. It's not really a boss fight, but it's not like I hated it. I hated it as a boss fight. I was so sad that I couldn't fight the dragon at the end. Dragon Slayer armor is an easy A tier. I'll do you one better. I think Dragon Slayer armor is the best fight in Dark Souls 3. To me personally, it's either him or honestly Gale. I have a few gripes with Gale, but Dragon Slayer armor, oh my gosh. I didn't think I'd actually have another boss I liked more than Abyss Watchers when I got to him. He hits so unbelievably hard, and everything is so fair. He's so fair. The only thing that sucks is that there's sometimes those little bird dragon Dragalge things that can shoot like random missiles at you. They don't do much damage, but it's like that should have been out of the boss fight, but his moveset is amazing. And you were punished so severely for making mistakes, and you always feel like it was your fault. Dragon Slayer armor is the Godfrey of Dark Souls 3, straight hands. I think he's better than Godfrey too. Like, honestly, I don't know. This is to me like a true like pinnacle boss fight. You have to be so careful. And his moveset, oh my gosh, he has a huge move pool too. He has a huge move pool. The shield bash is a little bit fast for my taste, just barely. Just a little on the tad fast side, but his moveset is so varied and just amazing. I'm gushing about this. I'm gushing about this so much. I didn't like the second phase getting hit by angels. That's the one thing I didn't like, but it's not enough to take it down for me because I don't think I ever died to the angels. It was annoying to hit chip damage by them, 100%. But I don't think it ever led to a kill. Did you mean the second one in the DLC? Did I meet the second one? Yes, I killed him way easier, obviously, because we had beaten the first one already, so I kind of smoked that second one. He got destroyed. Like, that guy was sent to the hospital. Like, he died on the way, you know what I mean? And we got his armor from him, though, too, which is cool. It's really heavy. So you could really, after a full playthrough, you could full cosplay Dragon Slayer armor. Because you get the armor from the second one, and then you can get... Oh, you need to do 2 playthroughs. Because you get his shield or his axe from his soul. So you need to do it twice, and then you could have his great axe, his shield, and the full armor. Which, that's really cool. Like, on a personal level, I would rather cosplay as, like, the Ringed Knights and use, like, the spear or the double greatswords. If I was gonna do, like, a second playthrough cosplay, like, stylistically, Dragon Slayer armor isn't my favorite, but boss fight... So, that's why I'd put him in S. To me, he's my favorite. Twin Princes, another S tier. I'm thinking A. I'm thinking A tier. I'm not sure where in A tier, but I'm thinking A, and I'm gonna go through reasons why. I do feel that there were instances where it was really hard to read this boss and what they were doing. And there were multiple instances of incidental damage that didn't quite feel like it was my fault. Whereas the angels in Phase 2 of Dragon Slayer armor, you'd get hit a little bit sometimes. Sometimes it didn't happen, and everything was your fault, and it's just a great moveset. There was some weird moments in here. There were some weird moments in here. You can't have my goat, Lorien and Yom on the same level. Well, Yorm is interesting because it's a very curated, designed boss fight, right? It's a very curated boss fight where the boss has a set moveset, he has set attacks that are very slow, and then you're forced to use a very slow weapon the devs give you. So it's a gimmick in a way, but it's a fully designed fight around like a gimmick weapon, and I think it's the best you could design it like that. I don't know. So that's why I had him up in A, because I feel like that's the perfect way to do that fight, even though I didn't get to use like my weapons. and defeat him in my own way. For what they designed, it was really good. They telegraph their attacks before they teleport, so you can dodge purely on reflex. Yours just bonding time with my son, Seer. I don't know. I'm gonna keep Yorm in A. I can't push it against that. I can't. He's too well designed as even like as a standalone kind of gimmicky fight. It's just too good. It is an actual Souls fight. He has a moveset. You've got a moveset. You just have to use a specific weapon and just play really well. And if all of the fights in the game were like that, I wouldn't like it. But for a single fight, I really enjoyed it, and I think it deserves to be here. Anyways, back to Twin Princes. They do telegraph their moves before they attack, and I haven't reviewed the footage, but there were multiple instances where I felt like the animation for the teleport didn't always line up with what attack they were doing. I could be wrong on that, but I felt that was the case. And then when they did the light beam thing in phase 2, where there were just a whole bunch of beams of light, it seemed like running and then dodging when they teleported was a pretty good strategy. It was pretty good, but sometimes I would still take some chip damage from the light. But the biggest thing, that stuff's kind of minor, right? The biggest thing for me was just the sheer health that the princes had. It was insane. And also, my experience got kind of a little bit whack with these two. They were kind of messy. Let's see, where is it? I don't know if we defeated him here. Yeah, it'd be in this one. And do you guys remember how I finally beat this boss? Because I was so disappointed and confused when it finally happened. Okay, that it's like right here, I guess, somewhere. So we got their head. Somewhere in here. You can hit the younger prince while he's on the back of his brother. I think we were doing that, because, like, right here, I mean, mostly I had to wait for him to get knocked off. Now, I can't really show this. Okay, this is it, though. I can't really show this. So what we were doing is, once we knocked one of them down in HP, I would do 4 fire shots, right? So I'd do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now the younger brother is doing the spell to get back on his brother. And at this point, I still have 2 flasks. I still have mana flasks, and this happened the day before as well. So this happened the day before, and he's gonna climb back on his brother, and even after, like, we kill him, and the older brother's gonna get back up. So you'll see. So I'm gonna throw the fireball here. Bam! I killed the younger brother right here. I killed the younger brother here. This happened the day before. I still had to kill the elder brother and failed. But then right here, it just ends it. Because I just got him just as he was, like, climbing up on his back or something. So the fight just ends.
Mark my words.
Oh my gosh, we got him. Wait, but the other one's still alive.
Remain.
Wait a second, we did that yesterday and it did... What was happening? But we did that yesterday and it was fine. And we had to fight... What? GG's? I wasn't ready for that to be over. I was ready to go another round. I still have 3 flasks of mana. I still have 2 healing flasks. That could have gone... I was ready for that to be worse. And so, like, it's not what am I doing? I don't know what... Okay, so it's not like a bad fight at all, but it's weird because they had so much HP that I shifted like 5 flasks to mana, and then I still don't know what happened. I'm assuming there's a brief window where you can kill the younger brother, and it just ends the fight. And if you don't hit him in that window, when he climbs on the older brother's back, if you kill him right as he's like on top of him or something, the fight still continues. But it was really weird. So he has so much HP with the resin that this was the first boss in the main game that I shifted, I think, 4 or 5 flasks of mana to take down. That is insane HP. That's a level of HP that I'm just not comfortable with saying is like an S tier, right? It's just way too much. And then there's some incidental damage. I can't confirm this without going back and watching the footage, but it did seem like the telegraphs weren't as clean as they could be. And then I had that weird glitchy ending. It was a good fight though. And I've even said this so many times. This is the hardest boss to talk about for me in quality. I've always struggled with this one. I cannot... this is the most tricky boss for me to place because I don't hate it, but I don't think I'm in love with it either. Now, is it better than like Yorm and Old Demon King? Maybe. I think I have to put Nameless King above Yorm too, now that I'm thinking about it. Old Demon King I was so over leveled for, I don't know. I see why I put Yorm below that though. Or sorry, Yorm above that, because it's so well designed. You can't blame a man for leveling his vigor. If HP stops you from S tier, none of the DLC's bosses would make it. Like I said, okay, so two things with that. My mind split in half. Two things. You're technically right on that, except the reason he's not getting S, the reason the twin princes aren't getting S is all of those things together. It's not just HP. My only complaint, we're not there yet. We haven't made it there yet, but my only complaint with Gale would probably be the HP, but technically HP isn't really the problem specifically. Like it is, but it isn't. It's like a side effect of like a bigger issue, which is in this game you don't have as many healing flasks or blood vials as in Bloodborne. And if you're going for magic stuff, you're on limited resources, and once you run out of limited resources, you have to flask for Ashen, which is an animation, and it means you're sacrificing healing to be able to do that. But is that what's the problem? Is it like a chicken or the egg thing, right? Or what's the identifying problem? Is the problem the mana system, or is it like the boss's HP values? So I can't even say the problem with the twin princes is HP necessarily, but the not having 20 blood vials because there's no blood vials in the game, that's Bloodborne, and also having a limited resource system to fight him with, if you're doing like we did pyromancy, doesn't work in that system. So is it the HP that's a problem, or the healing system, or the entire flask system in general? You know what I mean? I get, yeah, that the magic build creates different experiences, because with a greatsword, I always catch them both in the attack. I think we were hitting them both too, actually, quite often. If we go back to this, I'm pretty sure I was hitting both of them. I used daggers for phase 1, and I was doing that pretty consistently. I don't know if we can get a good part in here, but I was pretty consistently hitting both of them. We have to go farther forward in this, but we were hitting both. Not like crazy, but this also goes to, once again, it's hard to, it's why this tier list would be better, especially with like the Dancer of the Boreal Valley, right? It'd be better if I had like a second or third playthrough to like go through, right? Because I have more to say with different builds and I could talk about them, whereas I only have like my solo lone experience here, right? And we did get this guy down. It worked. So that's it. That's what I was talking about. Okay, so like right here, this is actually kind of a good example of what I was talking about. His animation right here is to raise his sword to the sky. Do you see that? So like he's gonna teleport and he raises his sword up. This looks like he's gonna do a downward slam with his sword. Right? It looks like he's gonna do a downward stab or downward smash, but watch what he actually does. That's the stab. Like, I read this well enough, but this is confusing. That is so confusing. Don't pretend it isn't. Like, that's what I was talking about, though, where sometimes I didn't feel like it was super readable, and he always starts off with the same move, I believe. When you start off, I think he always starts with the same move, where he raises his sword up. Okay, so watch. He's gonna do the same thing here. So the boss, it's kind of blurry. Are we at 1080? So he raises his sword up to the sky. You can see him raising his sword up, but he's not gonna do the stab. He's gonna do the like a vertical slice. So it's not exactly clear what this boss is doing. Right? I didn't know I'd actually get to show that on stream. I didn't think it was that important. But like, he's kind of confusing to read. So I don't know. I found it kind of awkward. Is A tier's a good place though, right? I put them at the top of A. The moveset is pretty darn great. It is a long fight. You get to learn their moves. It's mostly fair with a splash of a little bit too much AoE light show. And they have too much HP, which breaks some of the systems depending upon what you're playing. I think this is fair, right? We spent so long on this boss. I love it, though. He always does the horizontal slash at the start. You're right. That's why that's why I went in it. That's why in this video I went to where I found I died and I was standing in front of a fog wall because I knew he was always going to do that. But my point is, there's never a consistent like thing that they do always, so you know what attack is coming out of a teleport, and it makes it confusing. You can learn to dodge it, but it's very tricky. And I think it's a little deceptive, too. You can put Soul of Cinder wherever you want. The magic phase brings it down for me. Soul of Cinder? The magic phase brings him down? Are we moving on? I guess that makes sense. We should. It's such a stall move with the magic balls. Yeah, to me, Soul of Cinder is a really good fight overall. First of all, it's a really good fight. What I had said before is the most awkward thing for me is that he essentially has player moves, but he is a boss, and the reason that is a problem. The reason that's a problem is because when you're normally fighting a player and they whiff a move, you're like, oh, I'll punish you for that thing and put you into hit stun or something. And you get a few hits off on them. But since he's a boss, he doesn't take hit stun. So he's sort of like a PvP player that's cheating, but in a more fair way than like the NPCs do, because he doesn't just like one-shot you. And the 3 phases are pretty excellent. He's a really good fight. He's going somewhere in A, I think, but I'm not exactly sure where to put him. I do agree with when he does the magic and he summons them up, you're playing so chicken because they can shoot off on their own. And also, it's hard for you to stop him doing any of those attacks. But I think he's better than Nameless King and Yorm, and Old King, the old Demon King. Part of me wants to put him above the princes too, actually. I don't think he's S tier. I didn't like him as well as the Abyss Watchers or Dragon Slayer armor. And he's like, his second phase is cool, but almost doesn't feel as dynamic as the first. It's like more dangerous but less dynamic. So it actually feels like he loses complexity after he phase changes, which is very odd. And I understand why they did that for thematic reasons. But still. What they did with the music in the last phase, which I didn't even pick up on right away. Red Slaps is like, listen to the music, the piano, and I was like, yeah, I'll try listening to the piano. And then I even fought him a few times and got him to the second phase. And I didn't even realize it, but then all of a sudden, it just like hit. I was like in a moment where I wasn't talking, streamer talk, but I was in a moment where I wasn't talking and it clicked and I was like, oh my gosh, that's what's his face's theme. I didn't even remember who he was, but like I remembered the theme, and that was so cool to hear Gwen's theme like return. It's just like, oh my gosh, as we're talking about it. As we're talking about it, guys. Oh my gosh, that is some crazy coincidence, right? Oh man. Yeah. The flame pong. Oh man. The sword he summons is also Gwen's. Yeah, it has to be an A tier. I think I like the fight more than the princes, but it's just another really solid fight. Yeah, I'm comfortable with putting him here. I think I've said enough. His magic phase I don't dislike as much as his spear phase, because his spear phase always wins neutral because of how fast he is and because you can't hit stun him. So it felt a little BS to me. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually dislike the spear pyromancer the most just because of the lack of being able to hit stun him with him having like attacks that win neutral. But the magic's kind of annoying, but he's A tier. But the overall fight is great. And although the second phase does lose a little bit of the versatility, it's so epic. You can't put it anywhere else. Yeah, it's a great fight. The move where he does Gwen's mega move verbatim. Didn't we find... Oh, yeah, Red Slaps is saying. The 5-hit combo is straight from Magus. Right. Right. Yeah. It was from... And I think you linked it in the Discord, too, Red Slaps. The 5-hit combo from Manus. Because I didn't... Did I call him Magus? From Manus. Because I didn't remember Manus having, like, a crazy combo. But then you linked it, so... Which is really cool, by the way. By the way, that's just like really awesome they put that there. And I didn't remember it, so it's cool having, it's what elevates streaming beyond just playing a game by yourself, right? Like I might not have ever found that out, so. Champions are C tier. Yeah, I would agree C tier. I'm not sure where. This fight's not that great, but it's not offensive either. The main dude is actually kind of fun to fight. Did I call him Grave Diggers instead of Grave Tenders? Did I do that? Because in my head I'm thinking Grave Digger, but like I was like, wait, that's not right. I like the wolf when I think both bosses are actually really good when you get them alone. It just sucks that it's a gank fight, right? The wolf is fun. The wolf is actually, no cap, like pretty fun alone. And the guy is actually kind of fun alone too. He input reads a little bit from what I remember. But his moveset is fair and his damage is actually reasonable for like a humanoid enemy. He's not complete BS. I actually maybe think B tier? It's going top of C or B. I could see B tier, but it's just a little bit frustrating, right? B tier are good fights. There's usually nothing frustrating about them, whereas like down here there's frustrations, and the fact that it's a gank makes me want to put it in C. But when you get them alone, and you do have them alone enough, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, together is. I'd agree. I think top of C, because if they were to be individual, it would be great. But with them just being together, it was just so stupid. Now, to be fair, and one of the reasons why I'm not just bringing it down into D tier, right, is because it was a very fair fight even when they were together. They didn't overlap like crazy. You had to play very careful, but they could have overlapped and played way more aggressively. The wolf is way passive until you get it really low on HP. So until you get the wolf low on HP, it's not going crazy. So they did show restraint, a lot of restraint. This could have been 1,000 times worse and could have been like a D or an F tier fight. And the fact that I can even sit here and say maybe B tier, maybe, that in of itself shows that it was done well enough as a gank fight. But I think top of C is a fair place. Sister Friede. The more I've thought about this fight, the more I've liked it. It's so strange. The more I've thought about this fight, the more I've liked it. It's odd. I started off thinking the invisibility thing was really stupid. I thought it was really stupid. I was like, man, that is such a dumb mechanic. But then I found out you can like hear her footsteps. You can see where she lands when she jumps behind you. Sometimes she'll break stuff. Friede's D tier or C tier at best. I did not care for. Wow, interesting. See, she's avoiding the C for me even. There's problems with her though, right? There are problems, and we'll get to those. So when I first fought her though, the stealth was so stupid. I was like, okay, this boss isn't bad, but the stealth thing is really dumb. Then I found out you could hear her. Then I figured out you could see her footsteps. And when you get close enough to her, she unstealths. So your like objective is to rush her down. Once I figured that out, I destroyed her. I massacred the poor girl. And from then on, phase 1 was hardly ever an issue. I died a few times. So then you've got the big problem with the boss though, of course. And that is the 3 phases. 3 phases seems kind of overkill, right? I can execute the invisibility attack, but her phase 2 is such a waste of time. Exactly, basically what I had to say. While talking about Friede like someone trying to deny they have a crush, she's special. So I like the cutscene where the father of Ariandale loses his shit. Yeah, I know that. And when she first comes back to life, I set that as a highlight for the channel of me watching her like come back to life, and I was like, no, we killed you. You are 100% dead. What is happening? And just like freaking out. But and then getting absolutely like destroyed in the next second. The second phase is actually another kind of, it's like one of those mildly fair ganks, right? It's a mildly fair gank like the champion grave tender, where it's reasonable to dodge almost everything, but man, it takes a while. It takes a while, and then you have to make sure you have Sister Friede on your screen at like all times, because she just spams ice at you. And will heal him. And once you have it down, phase 2 isn't that bad. I'd agree with the waste of time. It's kind of epic though. It's pretty cool. It is cool, but it's like, why is this here almost? Start slamming the pot and the fire starts dripping. The transition is one of the best in the game. Is it the best transition in the game? It might be. I think it's the best transition in the game. There's not a whole lot of full-on cutscenes, are there? For, like, phase transitions, now that I'm looking at all the bosses. Yeah, phase 2 is a non-phase we could have done without. But, yeah, but the cutscene is so great. I want to have my cake and eat it, too. Yeah, I think... and that's why I'm conflicted with it. When I was done with her, I said the same thing that I said about the Twin Princes. Which is that I didn't know how to fully feel about her. Let's talk about phase 3 before we go somewhere else, right? Nameless King's transition was cool. Gale's was... Gale could have used, like... I didn't like his all that much. Is that weird? He just, like, bled on his sword and screamed. So, I mean, it's not, like, bad. And I guess the dialogue's kind of cool. Like, is this the blood of the dark soul? Right? It's kind of cool, but it's nowhere near the same level as Sister Friede. Like, no way. Okay, anyways, phase 3 though. Phase 3. Phase 3 is insane. Like, the third phase is so... she does so much damage. And maybe that's what they could have done to, like, level things out. She could have had less HP and maybe less damage in phase 3 since you already had to go through, like, 2 phases. And she's very kitey in phase 3. She jumps around all the time. Something that is unique about Friede versus almost all the other bosses that we fought so far in the game is that she can actually be hit stunned by a lot of skills, by a lot of attacks, including our daggers. So if she hit us first, we had to back off. She was doing a lot of damage. But if we could hit her first, we could keep her locked in stagger, which almost all the other bosses just ignore hit stun rules. So it kind of felt like I was actually fighting another, like, person on equal terms. And I generally don't get that feeling. It's an endurance match? Yes, it is. And that's how I felt about the Twin Princes, though, too. The Twin Princes were endurance in a different way, because I was having to sacrifice heal charges to keep my flame going. Because they had so much HP in the regeneration. Now, I don't know, I've really warmed up to this fight. I do think I like it more than the Twin Princes fight. It's got problems, though. It does. The 3 phases feel like overkill. The stealth when you first run into it is a BS mechanic that feels completely unfair, and before you figure it out, it just feels like completely out of left field, like, what am I doing? But I can't help but feel like I liked it more. I think I'm gonna put her above the princes. I know you might disagree with that, but I think I am. The fight was cleaner once you figured it out, versus the princes, which I feel like was worse even after I figured them out. There's just, like, problem. They're still both A tier, okay? Demon Princes is A tier. You can't put Friede over my boys. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I do think so. I'd rather fight her again than the Twin Princes. I would. Even with the 3 phases, which is kind of overkill. And is what stops her probably from S tier, honestly. If there was only 2, or she had less HP in phase 3 and less damage, probably S tier. Demon Princes is A tier. I will agree with you on that. I think the Demon Princes is one of, if not the best gank fight in all of Souls. In fact, there's almost part of me that wants to put him in S. I think that's a little bit too much. I think that's too far. But maybe a really high A. I don't know if I'd put him over Soul of Cinder. Because the gank fight is so fair, and then the Demon Prince has, like, its own moveset with, like, fireballs, and it's flying around, and it has that move where it does the Spirit Bomb, and if you whack it, you interrupt it, and all the fire falls down on it, but if you don't, then it, like, launches it at you. It's so epic. I go out of my way to do the prince, but I don't do that or Friede. Finally a brother. We demon princes Glazers gotta stick together. He's so cool. You know what? I actually found out something. So I watched Mr. Raccoon do this, right? And when he was fighting these bosses, somebody in his chat said something that's crazy. And I can't test this because I didn't go online to look it up. But supposedly, depending upon what demon you kill first, there's like Demon of Hatred and Demon of like Pain or something. Depending upon which one you kill first, the second phase changes. It's still the same boss, the Demon Prince, but I guess there's something different about it. And I didn't know that. And it makes me want to go back and fight even more. On top of being like, and there's so many smart choices with the gank, with it being a gank fight from a DLC. Yeah, you're agreeing on that too. Yeah, but there's so many good choices with this. Like, one of them can only go berserk at a time, and the other one is so slow, and it's just like spitting poison and stuff. But the poison or the AoE fields don't go off right away. You have time to like react. The last demon to die is what determines the phase. The ultimate move changes. And that's crazy. So I haven't even seen not half, but I haven't seen at least one move of this guy. It has a giant laser instead of the fireball. I want to see, yeah, like I want to see it now. See, this is what I mean though. The more I think about it, the more I want to put it in S, but I don't think it's quite to the level of Abyss Watchers or Dragon Armor. It's ever slow slightly below. The gank is still a little messy, right? It's still a little messy. His moveset is not S tier worthy either. But it's pretty darn close. It's pretty darn close. As close as you could get without me wanting to. I don't know, but I do love it. You can summon Gale for this fight? What? I don't, because the... oh, you don't do the summon, because the health is raised too much. See, I didn't feel like Demon Prince had too much HP. I think we fought him with daggers for phase 1, like standard, my standard way of beating things. Daggers for phase 1, and then we use like 2 or 3 mana pots and pyromancies for phase 2, and it was fine. Like it was enough damage. It's chaotic in just the right way. I actually am debating to put this in S, even still. I don't think I'm going to, because we're gonna get to Gale, and I don't think he's as good as Dragon. They are as good as Dragon Slayer or Abyss Watchers, but they're the best gank fight in maybe all of the Souls games that I've played. The only other gank-ish fight that I really love from Souls games that I've played in my life, not just this game, but like, or FromSoft, but the other one would be the Triple Reapers from Lords of the Fallen. They can move independently, but they can't attack independently. And that was very clean. I've never seen a cleaner fight than that, because they had like set rules in play for what was possible. So you could be attacked from behind, but you couldn't be attacked from front and behind at the same time. So oh, you're right, Shadows of Yharnam, that was what I compared this to. You're right, I totally forgot about that. Shadows of Yharnam was what I compared the Demon Prince to. The only other gank fight that I've played in FromSoft that was fair. Thank you for catching me on that. You're 100% right, I forgot about those guys. And you really liking them makes sense as well, because yeah, that was a really well done gank fight. You have a slower caster, 2 people that aren't too fast, but do try to rush you down, especially if you get close to them with melee weapons. And then it gets, all hell breaks loose once you kill like 2 of them and there's the snakes coming out. A little bit too chaotic. I don't think it's as clean as the Prince fight. But even if not being as clean, it's still a very good gank fight handled well. The snakes are a bit much, I think. But yeah, so we're gonna leave him in A. Half-Light, Spear of the Church. They're surprisingly fun. Didn't expect them to be like that. You mean, do you mean the Shadows of Yharnam? Half-Light trash. Yeah, I agree. I agree with the D tier. Okay, I'm not grading the online thing. With the online thing, I had to kill a player and it glitched, and then I had to do this guy too. So, I'm just grading Half-Light himself. So, biased because PvP. No. We're not grading the PvP side of things. The PvP side of this gets F tier. I don't like the PvP in Dark Souls, okay? Like, I'm sorry. I have other games that I like, and I don't think it's well balanced. There's problems with it. Like, there's better PvP systems out there, right? Like, come on, let's not cope here. He's entirely an obstacle to Gale. Yeah, just talking about Half-Light, I do think he's actually kind of D tier. Right? Like, I do think he is D tier. Would have liked the online thing if they didn't have a helper. Yes, I said that too, actually. That would have been really cool. But the gank of it was so brutal. You're at too much of a disadvantage. Yes. It's so brutal. Yeah, I can't agree anymore. But, okay, just talking about Half-Light, though. He input reads like crazy. We defeated him within, like, 2 attempts of me actually fighting him. Is the music over? Is that the whole playlist of all of Dark Souls? No, it's still going. I don't know why it's all quiet. It's still playing, it says. But anyways, he input reads like crazy. He's not super strong. He's not, like, special, though, either. We don't get very many boss fights in the DLC. And the one that you fight beforehand, Demon Prince, makes him look like trash. Like, we're just comparing him to the Demon Princes? Oh my gosh, and the Demon Prince final fused form? Like, oh my gosh. And I think the most annoying thing with him is his, like, Moonveil vertical slash. First of all, Moonveil doesn't have, like, a 20-hit slashing combo when you get too close. It's just one slash, so I see why they changed that for Elden Ring. But when he does that vertical slash, there's no punish window. So he can just do that as much as he wants. He's an NPC character guy, so he has infinite HP, infinite MP, infinite everything, and just spams his ever-living guts at you, and you don't even get good punish windows. And he's not hard. We defeated him in 2 goes, 1 or 2 goes. So he's not even hard. Not judging PvP, he's still D tier, he sucks. Alright, Slave Knight Gale. I have one complaint with this boss, and it's not enough to keep him out of S tier. My one complaint is that I do feel that he potentially has too much HP, but I'm going to put a big asterisk on this. I don't think that it's entirely boss's fault to have that much HP. I don't think that it's really the boss. I think it's the other systems around the game, like having weaker healing over time things. The healing over time in the game is not very good. I think having the mana system where you sacrifice your heals for mana works very good early game, but kind of breaks late game for whatever reason. But that is a separate system from the boss. That's not taking into account the boss's moveset and what it does. And it's one of the reasons why we still see Sister Friede here, and specifically the princes here, even though they have like a gazillion and a half HP. That's my only complaint. Everything else about this boss is amazing. It's really good. The moveset especially, obviously, that's the main thing you're dealing with, might be the best in the game. I might put him above Abyss Watchers. I didn't mind the big HP pool as much as I thought because it was just so fun. I think I'm in agreement with you. To be fair, HOT is more for exploration, not for combat. I think I'm having a streamer brain moment. What is HOT? Oh, hot. Healing over time. I'm such a ditz. I don't mind the fight with Gale being longer. I think it makes sense too for a final boss. Oh, healing over time. Yeah, you said it too. I was just being stupid. When you did the little O, my brain just like crashed there for a second. It didn't need to be longer. It didn't need to be longer. It's what motivates me to kick up Dark Souls 3 in the weekends just to get him. It's a really good fight. I think it almost should be higher than Abyss Watchers. I really enjoyed my time with him, even though I lost to him a lot. And once again, my problem with the HP isn't HP. Like, it's the fact that I was punished just with my build just because of other external factors. But I can't punish the boss for that. It doesn't feel right. It's a problem with the game, not the boss. The boss's HP could have been that high if I wasn't worried about flasking and stuff like that. It's such a good fight. The music is great. And I think he has the best moveset in the game. I don't know. Dragon Slayer Armor's moveset is really good, guys, and very fair. Sometimes I felt like I got hit by a few things here that weren't super fair. Like some of the curse magic Lagarius stuff. Every once in a while I take some chips, but I mean, I took some chips from the angels in this fight. I don't want to put him ahead of Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer is still my favorite, I think. He's worth starting a whole new playthrough just for. You have said so. You love this guy. Oh my gosh, you love this guy, Dux. It's a playlist staple. It is great. It's an S tier fight for me. I don't know what more I can say. I don't know what more I can say. And now we get to one of the strangest that I have probably the most trouble placing, and it's probably going to end up in the midish area for me, and that's Dark Eater Midir, because this to me is like super weird. This is the weirdest fight in the game for me on like a personal level. It was just so awkward. So, oh, give me like half a second, just like half a second. Okay, so this was the weirdest one for me, obviously, because my build and what I did just didn't really work for it. But I don't even know if it was really my build specifically, but once again, it's sort of the problem with Gale and the HP, where the mana system breaks. Right? FBI open up. Yeah, we're going to grab dinner in a second, like my dad and I. We're gonna bring it home. So I don't have too much longer. I wanna obviously finish this. Yeah, let's not judge Midir for being a counter of your build. I agree. So it's like Nameless King against Lightning build. So okay, first of all, you're kind of wrong on that a little bit, because like this guy counters dark and magic and fire, like all at once, which is a lot. Now, my biggest problem with him, though, to be fair, my biggest problem with him doesn't deal with the boss himself. If I could have just spammed Sunlight Spear on him for the whole fight, it would have been fine. But I couldn't do that because the mana system was broken. Like, the way the game is designed was not to have bosses with that much HP to where you would run out of mana potions after shifting like 5 of your HP heals into Ashen. But once again, is that the boss's issue, or is that like the game's RPG issue? Right? And it's not really the boss. It's just like the devs, like I said, sometimes Dark Souls 3 feels like it's in a beta. I'm just waiting for the beta to be over. When do I get mana regen? Like, get rid of the flask system of healing for Ashe and just give me mana regen. And suddenly, this is like an A tier fight. Right? I need to try a melee build? I do. I do. When we shifted, so, okay, I made a shift. We got the spear, and we enchanted it with lightning. We infused it with lightning. And I think I killed this guy in 4 attempts. I think I killed this guy in, like, 4 attempts when we did that. He's like, his moveset and everything is so fair, but at the same time, there's so many, like, issues that bring him down. Like, I could put him low A, maybe. The DLCs are endgame material, so the high HP pool is mandatory. You're right, but then if so this is like a problem with scaling though, right? That's why I say like it's not really a boss issue, it's just like a other systems issue. Save this list and see how it changes for you. Try a melee build. Well, you mean like a raw melee build, like Dex or Strength or something. I'd try Strength. It seems way more powerful, just from what I've seen when I watched Mr. Raccoon play. But yeah, I don't know. I like moveset alone and what this boss does. It's A, but him countering like 4 or 5 different things and having so much HP is just so awkward. That's why I said, like, this is the hardest one for me to talk about on a personal level, because like he breaks. It's not even just he counters like my spells and stuff like that. There's not enough mana to fight him. Like, the system doesn't work. So, but his moveset's good. The Claymore is literally at the start. Oh, you're gonna Claymore Glaze? I'd want to use something unique. I'd want to use something pretty unique going through the game. I wanted to kind of go through with the Demon Fists for a strength playthrough. But I'm doing Darkest Dungeon next. I don't know if I'm gonna do a new game plus of this. Like, I debated it, but like I kind of don't want to. I kind of just want to let it die in a sense. But I do need to play it again at some point, right? I don't know. I never returned to Dark Souls 2 to do it as a new game plus either. So you're too good for the Claymore now? Well, there's something to be said about, playing through the game and realizing that, like, especially towards the very end, that your stuff, that your build and your stuff was like not set for like the end game, like it had issues. It's pretty demoralizing. But can he go in A tier at the bottom, and you shall not be lynched for this tier list. So you're okay with him being low A. Like, he counters so many builds, including just screwing me over. But his moveset's okay. But, like, his moveset's also not as good as Nameless King. We're not being stupid, right? It's a good moveset, but it's not like Nameless King good, right? It's not. And he's got issues because of that first phase and stuff. The Claymore cleared the whole game for me. Same with Elden Ring. Yeah, I mean, you can clear almost anything. You can clear Elden Ring with almost anything. All right, I do have to go though, guys. Unfortunately, so for now, this is my tier list. I have 2 minutes. Not really. Yeah, I kind of have to go. My dad's waiting. We're gonna go grab food. But yeah, so this is my tier list, at least for now. I don't know. If you guys really want me to, instead of Darkest Dungeon, we can do like another playthrough, but you guys will have to let me know. I'm conflicted. I kind of just want to move on. I don't know if that's fair. I kind of just want to move on. You should have gatekept Midir. You don't appreciate him enough. I do. I appreciate him enough. Okay, you're really set for Darkest, Red Slaps. Same with me. I'm good for it, so I can start tomorrow, honestly. So maybe Darkest Dungeon starting tomorrow. If you guys are down. I just have to make sure everything works on my end. Never seen Darkest Dungeon? It looks really cool. Like, oh my, played it. But I actually have to go, so Thanks for sticking around, guys. I know this is kind of impromptu, but I am out of here. I'm wild. And I'll catch you in the next one.